Mm-hmm.
And talking about women issues. So maybe you can clarify this for me. What's the top women conditions?
So I think, first of all, diabetes, breast cancer, heart disease, uh, depression, and this wasn't a disease 5 years, maybe many years ago. I don't know, but time. The older you get, the faster time goes, right? So, excuse me if I'm wrong, but I think in the last 10 years, obesity became a condition, an illness, a disease, one of them, right? So obesity is high on the list of women's health conditions. So I list five, right? Heart disease, diabetes, breast cancer, obesity, and depression. Just the top five. That's sad, but that's the top five.
And do you believe that with proper diet and supplementation, they could be reversed?
Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. Because you have to remember, and I'm writing a book on the high fives. I love that name because my granddaughter loves that name. She goes, high five, Nana.
Oh.
So I like to have fun with it. But I think, when I was doing my research, which is sad, I realized that the high fives can be reversed because it's created. We created them. It's based on our food and our lifestyle. It's not because we're lacking a blood pressure medication or we're lacking in some cholesterol medication. No, we created it because of our lifestyle. My grandmother died over 100. She didn't have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, none of that, high sugar. She didn't have none of that, high obesity, none of it.
You're right. The only thing with I have to say about drugs, like cholesterol medication, it's not a fix. It's not. And I know because, gosh, I want to say about 17 years ago, they told me I had high cholesterol. And this is back when I didn't know anything, right? I didn't know anything. And the side effects I felt taking that cholesterol medication were horrible. Horrible.
Yes.
I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
My stomach hurt, my liver hurt, my back hurt.
Right.
And I'm like, if cholesterol doesn't kill me, this is going to kill me. And
right.
I read about my condition. We need cholesterol.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Doesn't know the difference between good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. Okay.
That's
and
right.
Cholesterol.
That's right. Yeah. And see, that's what's called personalized medicine. Like, I could take 3 different people. They all have high cholesterol. I'll treat them all 3 differently. Because it's really based on why there's something called genetic high cholesterol. Those people don't need cholesterol medication. In their generation, they all can be borderline high, and it's nothing wrong with it. And why are you treating it? Because if you give them the medication, now you're creating a real problem from the side effects of the medication. You see things like that. Like, you also see things like they'll treat high blood pressure, and then you do the research and you find out that low blood pressure is just as dangerous as high blood pressure. But because there's no medication for low blood pressure, they don't treat that. But you heard me say it's still dangerous.
Yeah, you make a good point.
But we got to be careful because we can't, the thing of it is that I believe in allopathic medicine. I'm a naturopath. My goal is, before I die and leave this world, that every doctor's office around the globe is going to have a naturopath and an allopath in the same office. Because that's the only way that we're going to get the health back in order for our American people or people around the globe. That's what I believe. And I believe that because that's what I've been living for the last 30 years.
And it's interesting you say that. I think educating or your patients are, us. It's important for you to explain to them what you just said. It's important to know that they don't have to live with this condition, that it's treatable with a proper diet, exercise, eating well. I mean, I can exercise every day, but if I'm going to eat a Big Mac with fries and a Coke, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to lose weight or
Right. What's the
not
point?
going to
Right?
feel good.
Again, yeah.
So, and our food does have a lot to do with it. And
Absolutely. Our lifestyle is what creates our reality. You know what I'm saying? It's our lifestyle that creates our reality. It doesn't, we're not born with high blood pressure and high cholesterol and all of these things. We develop it.
no, you're right. We do. And, we may, like I said, I want to feel like I'm 21 again. Well, when I was 21 again, I thought, wow, this is great. I feel good. And then a decade later, I feel good still. And then a decade later, I'm like, okay, my joints start hurting. And again, it's lifestyle. It's what I eat, what I eat.
You got to remember too, is that, when I created the 4 pillars, we'll talk about that tomorrow night. So join in tomorrow night, because tomorrow night is going to be extremely important to understand why I created the 4 pillars. It's because I have lived it and I understand it, and I understand where we're going and what people need. And if you're going to touch the globe, which my goal is worldwide education in this area, I always talk about, first we want, I call it the RRRR program: release, reset, restore, and revive. Right? So release the weight. So I'm teaching people how to release the weight with my 21 pounds in 21 day program. And then I'm teaching people how to reset immunity, and how I came up resetting immunity, because remember I said I do blood work. And when I do blood work on these people, I find out, oh my goodness, no wonder. Now I understand why certain people died of COVID and certain people didn't die of COVID. I understand that now. So, I'm going to be writing this book on immunity, resetting immunity. That's not the name, but I'm just trying to get a point. So release, reset. Now we have to restore wellness. See, you know what? And it's in order. How do you restore wellness? Well, you first have to get your body in shape. Okay. You have to boost your immunity, find out what it is that you need. And the way to do that is to do blood work. And then you write a program around wellness. That's restore wellness. And then now we got a whole nother area. It's never over. And that is revive. So here we go. Release, reset, restore, revive, longevity. Now, when you get to be my age, you're at that 4th level. You're now thinking about, you never stop detoxing. I'm not saying that. You always release the weight, release the toxin, release the weight. And you always reset immunity. And you always try to restore wellness if you have a chronic illness. But when you start talking about longevity, you've already touched bases on the other 3. Because longevity is supposed to be when you say, I now got this. What do I need to do every day so that I can live my best life, my long life, my well life, my energetic life? And you can't skip the other steps. You just can't. You can't have a toxic body and an overweight body with high blood pressure and high cholesterol and say, now I'm going to live my long life. Now I'm going to live my long life. It doesn't exist like that. You have to go through the 4 pillars.
No, you're right. And that's why we need to detox, because as you mentioned before, you need to detox parasites, you need to detox everything that you mentioned. Parasites is one thing I'm learning about right now, that they're the ones that want the sugar. They're the ones that want the junk food. They're the ones, and there's good parasites too,
Yeah.
like good
Yeah.
bacteria, but we need to get rid of the bad ones.
Yeah.